My name is Jalaj, and I have around 7 years of experience in the AWS data engineering project. And currently, I'm working with Deloitte. I'm certified with AWS Data Analytics Specialty certifications. And now I'll share my screen to show you what we will cover in this course. Yeah. So in this course, we'll start from the Python, the basics of Python. How do we loop? What are the syntaxes, if else conditions, case conditions? Then we'll take one class on string manipulations, then working with files, how to read files, what are the mode of reading the files, and what we can do after reading the files and manipulating them and writing back to the output sources. Then we'll be going through some hands-on with the data frames, the data frame methods available in the Python, and we'll do a mini project like the day-to-day tasks that we get in the data engineering projects, like that we have to do on the Python, the kind of transformations that we do on data, the kind of string manipulations that we do on the datas, and like how to handle them, errors and all those things, the best practices out there. So those kind of things will go in the Python. And I will not be covering the OOPS concept in this, like we will go through the Python scripting classes. Then we will have this S3. Just a second, this bar, I need to take it down. Yeah. I'll introduce this simple storage service of AWS to you and the various storage classes that we have in the S3, the lifecycle rules, the impact on the cost of those rules in the projects, the triggers that we have, that how can a S3 file trigger various services of the AWS, how to configure them, how to backtrack them, the security, how to make sure your data is secure on the cloud, how do we encrypt that, what are the encryption options that we have, how to give some access to some specific persons, role-based access, and those kind of things we will go in there. Then S3 has the one concept of soft delete, or you can say versioning, how to utilize that, what are the various features of that functions, how can we enable or disable that, when to use those functions. Then we'll go some use cases of S3, when to use S3, when to recommend S3, and when not to use S3. We'll go some hands-on how to upload files, download files, view files, do basic queries on the files, how to configure S3 buckets, folders, what are those, and how to work on the API side of the S3. The next service that I will cover will be AWS Lambda. So I'll introduce to the Lambda, like basically it's just serverless framework of the AWS. What are the features that AWS Lambda offers? The use cases of Lambda, like when the organization want to use Lambda, when we should avoid to use AWS Lambda functions, its limitations, what it cannot do, and what it is supposed to do, like the differences between these two things we'll get. Then we will write some Lambda functions to like start a EC2 server, create some S3 bucket, copy data, get some get some information of the IAM roles, like 3 to 4 Lambda functions I'll write for you, and I'll show you how to use the Boto3 APIs of Boto3 API, how to interact with various AWS services with the help of AWS Lambda, how to do automations with the help of AWS Lambda. So those kind of basic things, hands-on labs we will do with the AWS Lambda, and I'll be using Python for this. Next, we will go through the Athena. So what is Athena, its features, how to use Athena and when to use Athena. Then we'll go some on hands-on labs, like manually creating the Athena tables first. Then we will use the glue crawlers to automatically creating the Athena tables, identifying the schema, and configuring the crawlers to like in a best possible way to make sure your data is not getting corrupted, and setting it as per your need in the project. So actually this glue crawlers provide you various kind of options, and you have to be very sure about that which option you have to select while configuring a crawler to create a Athena tables, because this can be a very crucial thing. Like, and then once we have created the tables, we will see how we can query using the Athena tables, how we can write queries, see the results, how to do backtracking, yeah, and troubleshooting, and I mean, like those kind of services. And when, again, it's a very important question, like how, when not to use Athena, like what are the limitations of the Athena and when we are not supposed to use these things. And then in the AWS data engineering, the most used service we will cover, it is AWS Glue. We will get to know what is AWS Glue, how to do ETL with Glue, and what are the various shells available in the Glue. And then we will write some codes in the Python shell. Then we will write some code in the Spark shell or PySpark shell. How to do error tracing and monitoring in the Glue. That is very important thing is here. So we will get to know the Cloud Watch also here. And we will work on a mini project, like maybe some mini ETL project, like we place the file in S3 and Glue do the transformations and save it back to the S3 in the some different format, a desired format of the file. And in this project, we will get to know like how to do transformations, what are the transformation methods available on the Glue side. Then again, the use cases and pricing of the Glue, because Glue is a kind of an expensive service. So we should be aware that how we are getting priced by the AWS for this. We should be optimizing the prices, how to optimize the prices. I'll also cover those things. And what AWS Glue can cover and what are the limitations of the Glue and when not to use Glue. Then we will be going through the data warehousing services of the AWS. I'll introduce you to the Redshift, its features, its DDL, DML queries in Redshift, the core structure, and the MPP, like the massive parallel processing architecture of the Redshift, how it works behind the scenes. We'll do some hands-on with the Redshift spectrum. What is Redshift spectrum and when to use the Redshift spectrum? How to load and unload data from the Redshift via Redshift API, via Glue, and some those things. How it is priced. Redshift is also one of the like most expensive services in the AWS environments, and how we can optimize the Redshift using the correct partitioning technique, using the correct bucketing technique, using the correct shortening and the other techniques in the Redshift. So Redshift we will cover, and we'll do some hands-on on the Redshift. Then there will be some other services like IAM. This is a service for your authentications. CloudWatch, there's a service for monitoring your jobs, or like the Lambda jobs, your AWS Glue jobs, how to like whether the job was successful or not, or what was the error, and see the output of the job. So for those, we use the CloudWatch services. Like, and the Cloud Trail I also introduced. Like, this is a service for mostly for the admins, but I'll introduce this to you also. And there are some other services like RDS. We have we can launch a Hadoop server on the cloud. We can do some big data processing on the cloud also. So when to use those services, how to use the service, and some hands-on on those services also I'll also cover. EC2 is also one of the things. See, I have not written them on the PPT, EC2, on all those things, because as a data engineer, you will never be launching an EC2 service by your own. It will be mostly DevOps guys or some admin guys. But I'll introduce you to those services and how to use them, how to interact with EC2 services, how to create a Hadoop cluster on the AWS cloud, and how to interact with that, how to run your queries or jobs on that, and when to use those things. And finally, we'll do a proper data engineering project. That is, we'll create a pipeline. That will be an automatic pipeline. We'll simply be placing the files in S3, and it will trigger a Lambda function, and Lambda function will get the information from that file, and it will be triggering a AWS Glue job. And from Glue, we'll be doing the transformations. Depending on the choice, we'll mostly we'll go with the PySpark, and then we'll convert the data, and we'll write that data into Page file, and we'll load the data from the Glue service into the Redshift. We will see what kind of errors we can get in these services, how to optimize this complete project, and what are the challenges that we can get in this project, how to configure IAM service for this project. So these all things we will learn in the troubleshooting and monitoring part of this thing. Then the final thing that every organization do, like going on that shift and querying their data, validating it, and analyzing the data to make some deductions out of it. So those kind of things we'll be doing in this final AWS project. And if you need, I can also help you with the resume creations, various interviews, questions, how to handle AWS data engineering questions, what kind of questions you can expect. So yeah, this is the basic introduction from my end. So, I mean, if you have any questions regarding this, you can ask me now.
Shekhar, any questions?
Sorry, it was muted. Not really. So when you say triggering Lambda with the S3 event, what does it really mean?
This actually means when you place a file on S3, you will run a Python code. So basically, Lambda runs up codes. It's not maybe it is not necessary it will be Python code. It can be a .NET, Java, or whatever. It supports 5 to 6 languages, but we will work on the Python.
Okay.
And this is the very basic starting of a pipeline. So in actual data engineering projects, now we will create some pipelines. So this is the starting part of the pipeline. So whenever you receive some data in the format of files, we store those files on the S3. Then an event is created, like I have received the file, and it passes that information to a Lambda function, and that Lambda function gathers the information, and depending on your needs, it runs a ETL job, which is run by a Glue service. You do all the transformations on your required data, and you save it back to their target. Like this is the very, you can say, core project you will see in the 90% of the projects. This is a very core architecture of that. You load into S3, you transform, you trigger it with the Lambda, you transform with the Glue, you load the data into some services. Like sometimes you load in Redshift, it can be Snowflake, it can be some other outsourcing, other output service. And then you connect your mostly the visualization parts into this, like the Power BI. You can connect. You can. AWS also has some. I'm not collecting its name, but AWS also has its service to visualizing things. You can connect AWS with that, and that this is how the actually the things go in the day-to-day ETL projects or data engineering projects in the production level.
Okay. And what is the use of Athena tables? Because I don't see nothing Athena related to project. So
Yeah.
what is the use of Athena?
See, Athena is a service basically we use in kind of where you don't need a complex queries, and you just want to see your data and you just want to query your data. Okay. So suppose you just have files, you are changing its formats and you are saving it back, but you want to see the results, how it was. In those cases, you use Athena, like where you do not need complex queries, where you do not want to manage infrastructure. Like Redshift is not a managed service. Okay, you have to create a cluster, you have to manage the cluster and all those things, and it's an expensive one. So
So
when
Athena
you,
is the managed service.
yeah, Athena is a managed service. It's a rental basis service. It's just, you can say in comparison to that, it's a cheap service. Okay. So when you are not looking to combine 10 tables in joins, you are not writing any complex queries, you are not working, like you are not hitting the CPU very hard, you should stick to Athena. You should like optimize the costs. See what happens, guys. Like I also take interviews for my firm, and what basically happens is we prepare for what is Athena and what is Redshift and what is Glue. But mostly interview asks you why Athena, why Redshift, and why Glue. Like the first question will be in an interview, if you're saying you work on Athena and Redshift, like when to use Athena and when to use Redshift. Because in cloud environment, it is not a, it's not a like servers that a company has bought and it's like, okay, like I have some 100 GB of server or 1 TB of server. It's there. It's a rental basis service. Okay, so you have to be cautious about the cost also. You cannot launch an Redshift server for querying a 100 MB file. Okay, this is what basically I'm trying to say. In that case, you should stick to Athena, save your cost, and do your work. You cannot like waste the client's money into some like this. It should be very good which service to use, what are the basics of that, and how it works in the behind the scenes.
So basically, Athena is for like small tables, like
Yeah, small
like
tables, basic queries, data viewing, and all those things.
okay.
You want to validate your data, you can say at the output end, how it looks. Is it okay? Is it like, is it in the correct format on all those things?
Oh, I
And not only
see.
on that, like if you do not need heavy querying, like heavy joins, complex query, if you do not need, you can go with Athena. You can save the final output there, and you can connect your Power BI and other services to visualize data from there also.
Okay. Okay. So the airflow, you're using Glue. So airflow is Glue is more similar or no? You know, there's something called Apache Airflow, right?
Actually, Airflow, I don't think it's there in the AWS environment.
Oh, I see. Okay. But is it something used in the project?
I haven't seen Airflow working in the project as of now.
Okay.
So mostly on clouds, it's mostly Glue, which is doing the ETL part for you. And if you're working on very, very high level of data, we launch Hadoop clusters. Like if you are going on TBs of data, we usually launch the Hadoop clusters.
Okay. Okay.
I can see one more person, Angel campaign something. Like, can you rename yourself? And also you can ask him like if I have any questions.
I mean, guys, feel free to ask questions and trust me, you will learn a lot of things. I mean, it may not look very fancy at the moment, but yeah, you will learn. I mean, I'll guide you to the projects, the real-time projects. We'll work on some actual production projects.
And Srinidhi, do you have any questions? You can unmute and speak at least. Yes or no?
Hi, Ganesh Garu. This is Devaki.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
live. Yeah, yeah.
And Arjun, I think he just joined. Do you have any questions, Arjun?
No, I just joined, so thanks.
Okay, we'll share you recording video about this demo class. And I can see one more person, DC.
Hey, hi. This is Divyesh.
Okay.
I joined late and I don't know much about it, but I would like to know the course duration and the fees and we'll
Uh,
get interview question as well, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I'll also help you in preparing your resumes, what to write in resumes and what not to write, and how to defend them in the interviews.
Mm-hmm. So what's the duration of the course?
4 to 5 weeks, like we'll say. First 3 weeks we will be doing some hands-on and mini projects and going through various of AWS services, and last 2 weeks we'll do some 1 or 2 projects.
So is it weekend sessions or everyday sessions?
we
I
are,
believe it's going to be everyday
yeah,
sessions.
it will be like a weekdays only. At the same time, we are planning.
Okay, and for every day for 1 hour, or is it more than 1 hour?
1 hour is sufficient, the wish. All right.
Okay.
1 plus
All
hour,
right.
depending on the questions and the things. So it will go for 1 plus hour.
Okay, got you.
So
Thank you.
other things we can discuss over the call. So just drop your number. We can discuss.
Sure. Thank
Okay.
you.
So if you don't have any questions, then we can wind it up. And also, I will be sharing the this recording video and even the course content what we are going to try in the upcoming days. And this batch going to start from the coming Monday. Coming Monday at the same time, 8 o'clock.
And here is the one question. We'll get links for the everyday video sessions, a recorded session.
Yeah, yes, you will be.
Okay.
Okay, then if you anyone like don't have question, then we can wind up the meeting right now, and we'll have a class on Monday.
So on what number? Hello.
Yeah, Devesh.
Yeah. So on what number we have to contact you?
I'm just pinging you.
Okay. All right. Got your number. Okay. Thank you.
And I can see one more person, Mr. Prasad. Prasad, you just joined, right? Prasad, can you unmute your speak? Prasad, we are done with the demo. If you have any questions, you can ask him. And also, I'll be sharing the course content and regarding video. We are not able to hear you, Prasad. No, we are not able to hear you, Prasad. Okay, Jalaj, I think we're not able to hear Prasad voice. We can wind up now if you don't have any questions. If you have any questions, you can ask him from Srinidhi, Devesh, and Prasad. So else, like we'll wind up now.
No question from my side. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ganesh, then we'll wind up. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.